So hello, here we are back with Wines Upon a Vine. My name is Dominique Heathcote, your host for today. And today we have with us two wine experts, Josep Serra from La Vinyeta in the Empordà, and Miguel Figini, who is from all over the place.
I would like to say, probably not an expert.
Well, we'll see about that. So, Josep Serra runs La Vinyeta with his partner, Marta Pedra. And they have an amazingly interesting project, which I find fascinating, which Josep will talk about afterwards. They have several awards as Best Winery, Wine Cellar 2017-2018. They also have quite a few gold medals in Garnacha Salmon and others. So yeah, we'll talk about all that. And Miguel Figini, among many other things, is expert in natural wines, low intervention, founder of L'Espai da Vi Natural, and currently involved with the wine cellar Heretat Mascorrubi.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome both of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for the invitation.
And today we're going to start. Today we're covering the DO Empordà, and we're going to talk a little bit about that region, and then we'll go on to speak about Josep's project and also Miguel's project. So shall we talk a little bit, Josep? Are you actually from the Empordà?
Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm. So
at least for our last 600 years.
Okay.
Well, my family.
So, could you tell us a little bit about what's happening in the Empordà at the moment? What grape varieties are being, the grape varieties basically at the moment?
Now it's a nice moment. We have been fighting for last decade to recuperate a couple of very local varieties that were not allowed in the DO. I talk about Carinyena Blanca and Carinyena Roja.
Okay.
Yeah. These are grapes that has been in Empordà forever, but when the DO was created in 1975, they forgot about them.
Oh, okay.
So they were not on the list.
Okay. Wow.
That's why we have been fighting for them. Yeah.
And how long have they been accepted in the DO? Do you know more or less?
Carinyena Blanca was accepted 2 years ago, I think. And Carinyena Roja is
recently.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure if it's already accepted or not, but if it's not, it will be in the next future. Yeah.
Okay. And are these grape varieties, especially, are they good for the climate change?
Oh yeah. I say that they are varieties from the past, but also for the future. They both keep really well the acidity, and nowadays with the change of the climate, that's something very important, because acidity means freshness, and many white varieties are losing the acidity easily because of the high temperatures and dry conditions.
You're right.
So
Are there any varieties that are sort of in danger of disappearing because of that, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. It was trendy 20 years ago to plant French varieties. They have small berries, and nowadays with the change of the climate, they are suffering a lot because the berries get dry, so they have nothing, no juice, no interest for the winemakers.
Okay. And Miguel, do you have anything to say about grape varieties?
Well, I will say that another interesting characteristic of these varieties that we are recovering and rebirthing is that the maturation cycle is longer, than the ones that we already have now. So this allows not only to maintain acidities, but also to create more fruitness, all the terpenes, all the flavors, yes, are there. So I think that we need to be very, very, I would say, trying to understand how all this works, because we also have to learn how to vinify them, yes, how to make all the winemaking with the new babies, yeah. So
Yeah, because I mean they take a few years before they start producing wine. No, if you're planting new vines, I guess it takes at least 4 years
more than
to get
3,
it good.
Yeah, more than 3.
Yeah, so
4 or 5.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And now, can we also talk about the climate of the Empordà, which is quite particular?
Well, we are close to the sea, the Mediterranean Sea, so the temperature is not well. It was not too high in summer. Now it's changing like everywhere, and in winter it's not so low. And we have also something really important. That is that as we are in the lowest part of the Pyrenees, when the wind pushes at the other side and it crosses the mountains, when it reaches our area, it's really strong and dry. The wind is called tramontana. That means through the mountains.
Through the mountains, yeah. I've heard about the tramontana and how it affects people's minds too, no?
It affects everything.
Well, in fact, when you go to his vineyard, you can see all the plants, yes, that are moved into the direction of due to the tramontana action. Yes, it's interesting.
I suppose the wind is good to keep a healthy grapes.
It is actually, with the change of the climate, it's getting less and less windy, and it becomes a problem. Because it's usually mathematic. It rains, and after a few hours we have the dry wind that pushes the humidity, so no problems with fungus.
How high is your vineyard? It's not very high.
Not very high. We are at 60 meters above the
that's
sea.
the point. But when you speak about Empordà, you also have to speak about wineries that are in a higher position. All the wineries that are in higher plantations are obviously going to suffer less.
Yes.
Have you considered doing anything special to help this new situation? I mean,
apart from praying, you say?
Do you have any vineyards any higher up? I mean,
well, there are not many fields in the high mountains because we don't have high mountains. I think that the vineyards will move to the inland. I think that in the future we will try to avoid the windy area because it's perfect because if it's humid then it helps with the fungus. But if it's dry, so dry like it was last 3-4 years, and we have the dry wind, then it's too much. So I think that we will try to avoid the windy places.
I would like to point out that the most difficult thing that we need to face is the change and the variation, of very strong successes, and not with a regular, with a certain regularity. I will say agriculture in general today is changing, and the prediction of the old men, that were saying, of the old agricultures that were saying, but this is now, and this is for Santa or whatever, but then it's changing and so on. This is severely changing, And I will like to point out also that one of the main issues is water. We are going to be suffering about not having water in the right moment, at the right amount.
Actually, this year it started really dry, and we were prepared for the trough, and then it started to rain, and it rained too much, and then we had troubles with diseases. So it's getting crazier.
So the wind will have been very good in that moment. But the point is that it is a big fight, and there are many different things that have to be done. And the most important thing is that we are learning, yes, and any learning in agriculture means years, yes. It is not like in industry where you can learn in a couple of months or in days, yes. Here, the nature rules. So this means that anything that you do, you need to find and see what's going to be happening with that. But there are certain techniques and certain, I will say, things that viticultures are doing that are helping, yes, this situation in a better way. For example, trying to conduct, yes, the rain by putting green covers, yes, in between the rows. The other things are, because this allows the water to be filtered and stay there instead of having these rivers, yes, across the vineyard. Yeah, so that's an important thing. The other thing is it is changing a little bit the philosophy in terms of preparing, yes, the plants for the fructification period. So there are many things that could be done, but the worst issue is that it is difficult to predict. Yes, how is it going to?
That's the issue.
Yes, so.
Although you, Josep, you and Marta in your vineyard, fortunately, I think you've already started some time ago, or maybe from the very beginning, to do sustainable wine growing and all these kind of things that people might start doing now because they realize that they're necessary for climate change. However, you have a slight head start in that, I think, in that you're quite an expert in all that.
Well, we are learning. I think that nowadays there are not experts. It's not possible to be an expert of something that changes so fast. But that's true. We have some strategies, like giving more and more and more organic matter to the soils, because when it rains, it keeps the water. That's a very important issue nowadays. Yeah, also choosing the right varieties, and maybe planting the new vineyards with less density of vines, so they have bigger spaces to explore, looking for the water.
Yeah, because is in the Empordà, is the soil, can the roots go down far or deeply?
The soils drain really well, so the roots go to the deepest soil looking for the humidity.
One of the things that I really love from their project is that, well, first of all, I would like to say that his family is one of the best sausages. Yes.
Yeah, we'll go into that. That's part of the
in Figueras. But apart from that, this is part of a certain education that is, in my opinion, something that's happening in their project, which is going back to what the farm was. Yes, resiliency is not just being specialized in one issue. Yes, but having animals, having tourism, having and using also the animals to help growing the plants, and there are many little projects today in Catalonia, even things that are a little surprising, like what is called syntropy agriculture. Yes, which is how the green forest grows. Yes, and also combining in a high density lots of different plants and so on. There's people that's already working on that. It needs a very strong change in mentality. From the end of 19th century and all across the 20th century, yes, the industrial mental frame, yes, takes that into manufacturing or doing something, a lot of only one single thing. So all the risk is there. Yes, and the industry is suffering about these sort of things. This is one point. The other point is extraction. Yes, so taking all and not giving anything back. Yes, so we can develop strategies that are going back to be more resilient, and that is just go back to how the farms were with our grandpas. Yes, well, my grandpas, not his grandpas, because they were younger.
Well, because last 30, 40, 50 years, agriculture has become something really technique that seems that somebody can manage from the office.
With a computer.
And that's not agriculture. You must be there. You must look what happens to the animals, to the birds, to the plants, to the vines, to understand, because it's an ecosystem. It's not a factory of grapes.
Well, but this mentality changes is something that's happening now. And this is why I love their project, because they are there. Yeah, they've been studying university with the mentality of industrializing the agriculture, yes, but they are now experiencing a going back, to the roots, which is, in my opinion, fantastic.
Yeah, me too. I totally agree. I think it's a wonderful project because you have, for some years, been doing that. So that's what I kind of meant with you having a head start, because some people, I think, are realizing now that that's where we have to go. And it's a little bit late in some cases, unfortunately, I think. Well, I don't know.
It's never late. We have to go. The point is that the concept of we are late, yes, petrifies people, and they do not do anything. No, my friend, it doesn't matter if we are a little late or whatever. We don't know. We need to go for it. We need to change the way we are producing food and beverages.
Yeah, but I mean, it is difficult to, as you say, to change people's mindset. I think that's the most difficult thing to do, is to change how people think.
Yeah, but nowadays, if people don't change the mind, maybe they will die. I mean that it will not be profitable, sustainable. If you are used to use chemicals to fertilize the land, and the prices, the cost of all these inputs is going up, and the productions are going down. So they will need to change too, I think.
So can we just talk about how you don't use obviously you don't use chemical products. It's mostly animal. Well, how do you look after your vineyard?
Okay, if you think about nutrients, we use manure, the shit from cows, that has some nutrients, but a lot of organic matter. This year it has been really nice because we have started to produce compost. Well, that was crazy. We asked for the permission to the local administration.
Yeah.
And they thought that I was going to produce compost for the whole country. And they started to ask me for many papers and many things. Finally, I told to the farm of cows, and they help us. So we brought some leaf branches from the prune of olive trees, the vineyards. They mixed it with some minerals, and they were removing it a few times for last few months. And as it rained, the compost is perfect. So now we are adding the compost to the soils, and it makes us really proud.
It's interesting. To produce in a farm, yes, all these sort of things, because you can build a circular economy with it. You do a pruning, yes, all that pruning is getting into your own, yes, mixed with the manure into your own compost, and with that you fertilize, yes, and by doing that you have been stopping of burning, yes, and producing carbon. Yes, so this has a lot of advantages. Yeah, so I will say keeping the planet safe is going to be a lot of work. Yes, and unfortunately, we are mentalized as a society that wants everything easy. Why do we buy in the supermarket? Yes, because we do not have to deal with someone and ask 100 or 200 grams or whatever. It's very easy. Just take one, put it in the basket, and so on. So we need stopping using the car, yes, or reducing using the car. So these sort of things are knocking into our doors to say, hey, stop your laziness.
Well, I think the younger generations is slowly more aware of these issues, and I would have faith in that they are going to save us, well, save themselves too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, also us, and hopefully we'll be around for some time. Okay, so now we're going to go with our next piece of music, which is Funky by Waesto. Free to use. Okay, so here we are back with Josep Serra and Miguel Figini, and we're going to talk a little bit to Josep about his project in La Vinyeta. I would recommend people to truly go and visit them because it is a little oasis of calm and peace. You just drive along the country lanes and you come along and you reach this this big but not out of proportion big vineyard that is truly delightful to visit. So I would definitely recommend it. So Josep, how did it all start and when?
It started by chance. As we mentioned, my family don't have vineyards, don't produce wine. They are butchers.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was by chance that we met an old wine grower. It was 20 years ago, although it seems that it was not so so much time ago. An old wine grower that was single, that had no children, and that was tired of working for nothing because he used to produce grapes just to sell to the cooperative. As he was tired, he decided to give up working the vineyards, and he decided to sell them. We met him at that moment, and as we became friends, he said, maybe you would like to buy my vineyards. At the beginning, we said, you are crazy. But then we were wondering that maybe we could, but we could if he would help us. Because at that time, my wife and I, we were at the university. We were studying viticulture. Mm-hmm. But we didn't have any experience, so that man teach us, and he also gave us the passion for all of this.
Oh, wonderful! And how much land was that then?
It was 4 hectares.
Okay.
4 hectares that was enough for him at that time. But nowadays, if you only have 4 hectares, that's not
very
enough.
Much.
No.
And now, how many do you have now?
Well, now we have been renting many old vineyards from many old wine growers like him. In total, we are working a nice extension. We are working 90 hectares, but most of them are older than 50. So the yields are really low, and especially now, last few years with the drop, the production has been really low. In fact, that's why we are working 90 hectares, because as we know that the yields will go down, we need to work more for less.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, we were talking about that in the last program. How do you think that the prices of wines will go up because of that?
They should, but as there are industrial wines that produce cheaper than the organics, it's really difficult for us
to compete.
Yeah, to compete. We need the consumer to be more and more sensible about these kind of things, because if they don't recognize the difference between a normal wine and an organic wine, then it's difficult.
We need clearly to tell consumers that they need to help to do this change if they would like to have life for their children and grandchildren. So it is something that we need to do together. And I will say we just need to switch this in a proper way, because when anything is done here in terms of cooperating and assisting things, you did the marathon in the Catalan television or things like that, or there's a lot of social activity, yes, and things. So I would say the solidarity of the people, yes, really exists. The point is that they do not know what are they doing when they are buying these sort of things. They are not conscious that they are not just having a nice, yes, experience, which is very important, yes, drinking a fantastic wine. But if that wine is made in a certain way, yes, it is more than that. Yes, so we need to do a lot of education, yes, and probably we need, I am not rich, but I try to only buy organic things, yes, and I eat less, yes, and that's good for my shape. Yeah. But I will say I prefer, yes, to go into this direction, and I think it's important because my wife is always saying, yeah, but the problem with all the organic things is that they are more expensive. I say yes, and fortunately they are today more expensive, yes, but we need to continue, yes, the mission of explaining people that this is more than eating or buying food and so on.
Yeah, and I think eventually things would balance themselves out logically. I mean, if everything was organic at the end, it would be for everybody's sake, no? I certainly think so. And actually, it's like wines with a story, because your labels have special...
Oh, yeah. Designs, names, all these things are very important in La Vinyeta, because my brother is a graphic designer, and he has helped us for many years. But as we are creating so many things all the time, he finally got tired of us. And now some friends of him are helping out us also with the designs. But we are continuing with his style. My brother loves playing with the meanings of the words. That's why we are called La Vinyeta. That has a double meaning. It means a small vineyard. That's how everything began. But it also means a vignette, a picture in a story, in a cartoon. With the vignettes, you create stories. We love creating stories as well.
Yeah, you can see that in your project. So, Josep, let's talk about all your projects, because there are lots of them. I mean, you have the Mona project, you have the one of the Ramats del Foc, no? The flocks of fire. Can you tell us a little bit about that? For example, Ramats del Foc, that's something really nice. There's an association in Catalonia that joins the shepherd and the fireman. 5-6 years ago, we started to collaborate with a young guy. He's called Victor, a young guy who's from Barcelona and who studied biology. After the studies, he was not happy about anything, and he decided to go to the Pyrenees, where there's a school where you can study to become a shepherd. Victor became a shepherd, and then he moved around the world taking care of sheep, just to get some experience. But the purpose was coming back to Catalonia to create his own stock. But when he arrived to Catalonia, he realized that that's really difficult for young people to start, because it's really difficult to get the land. In La Vinyeta, we got the land, and we need to have a shepherd. So that was perfect. We started to collaborate, and that's how nowadays we have 350 sheep that stay in the vineyard in winter. But when the springtime arrives and the vineyards start to grow up, they go to the end of the Pyrenees, which is a very dry area, and where quite often there are huge fires. So as we belong to this association, the firemen indicates us which are the most strategic areas where they need us to stay, to eat everything, and to make prevention against the fires. Yeah. That's really clever, and very romantic too. And so he goes walking. It's like a transhumans, a migration.
Yeah, that's it.
So how much, do you know how far he walks? I mean, how many kilometers?
Well, first of all, they move to the coast, and it means like 2-3 days marching. They stay there making prevention for 1 month and a half. And after that, they come back to La Vinyeta to rest a few days, to continue marching to the highest mountains. And it means around 8-9 days.
Wow,
yeah.
Amazing. Yes.
Just one thing to point out is Empordà has also another singularity, which in my opinion is fantastic, speaking about helping to clean, the forest and to prevent fires. Yes, there is a cow race which is called Albera, like the place, La Vaca Blanca de la Albera, or the white sheep from the Albera, that has a particularity of eating all that thing that also, sheep or also goats, are more specialized in eating because they are strong. And there is a project there which is called Bausiches, that is recovering these cows, from extinction, and also being part of this cooperation, with the firemen in order to clean these sort of things. There are some, for example, I know that Gramona, in Penedès, have a couple of these cows due to this. See, organic, yes, and a virtual circle, yes, where the animals are helping us, yes. So I would like to say also that one of the other problems that these people are facing very strongly is when you have very nice fruits, yes, there are two animals, yes, close to your vineyards that are helping to lower, yes, the
yield.
The yield, yes, which are the wild porks and I don't know the name in English of cabirol. It's a little a Bambi.
Yeah, yes. Like a little deer, but it's like a mount. Yeah.
Yeah. But the point is that these, as there are no more wolves, yes, in the Pyrenees, so and there's also a bad understanding of chasing, yes, but because if chasing is something related to maintaining this relationship, and also, have you been trying the meat of these?
You mean to hunt them?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yes. Hunt and produce sausages, produce...
Pâtés,
years ago, I remember when I arrived to Catalonia, I was always going to the, let's say, to little villages and so on, and to the restaurants there. And you always can eat, yes, wild pork, you can eat all these sort of things. We have been losing that. So I am always when I go to a food fair, trade show, the first thing that I'm looking for are, yes, to wild animals and making sausages from them.
The project Ramats de Foc, it's nice because it also involves the situation of butcher shops.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have the sheep that helps making prevention. We have the shepherd that produces meat, and we have the butcher shops that sell this meat with a special brand that the consumer can identify. So
it all makes sense. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then you have your Mona project.
Yeah, Mona project is also a collaboration. We love collaborating with a foundation that it's close to Girona, that it's unique in Europe and one of the few in the world, that it's taking care of apes. They are old apes that comes from a circus, that comes from the police, that have found them abandoned, I don't know where. And a few of them have also been cinema stars. When they are young, they are funny, but when they are 3-4 years old, they are so strong that they are not funny at all. So people don't want them, and they take care of these animals. I thought that it happened 50 years ago, and it's crazy. Every year they get a few new animals. Wow. Yeah. So they ask us if we would like to create a wine for them, and we created 2 wines, a white wine and a red wine. As they recuperate animals, we thought that it would be nice to recuperate old varieties that have been always in Empordà, but that nowadays they are not so important. So we make a red by Monastrell. That was the main variety before Phylloxera. And the white with Malvasia. That it's a Greek variety that came 2,500 years ago by the Greeks. But it's not so common nowadays in Empordà.
And then you have on the wine label the picture or the face of the monkey, no? For the monkey nice. Of the year.
Yeah, actually every vintage has a different name. That it's the name of the ape that it's on the label. So we change the animals every year, and that's how they don't get jealous.
Let me point out that this is not wine for the animals.
Oh no,
it
for
is
sure.
the funding that goes for the animals. Because someone could say, well, old monkeys, all drunk.
No, they don't. They don't drink. We asked him to come to help with the harvest. They said no. So we brought some grapes to them.
Oh, wow.
And when they saw the grapes, the fruit, they got so happy and crazy. They ate everything
and
very,
how many,
very fast.
do you know how many apes they have?
I will not like to commit a mistake, but I think that they have like 40. Yeah.
That's quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah, quite
You
a
could
lot.
do some kind of wine that could be called grapes, no? Like GR apes.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And then you also have a funny story about a car that you have in your vineyard. Is it still there? Is there like a little car that?
Oh,
little
yeah.
Mini
Yeah.
or something, or?
Yeah. I would say that the most special vineyard that we have, it's a vineyard that it's on a slope on terraces.
Mhm.
It's a small hill. That's a vineyard that we rent many years ago, and finally we bought. And first time when we rented and we got to the top of the hill, it was so funny. We found an old car, a Mini, that last owner brought there by the tractor, just to have a shelter when it was raining. And well, it's so nice, the point of view over there. You see the car with many stones on it, and it seems like the nature is eating the car. So, well, it's crazy. It gives the name to the vineyard. We call it La Viña del Mini.
La
The
Viña del
Mini's
Mini.
vineyard.
That's important sort of landmark, no, in your vineyard. Yeah. And also, Josep, what about these earthenware vessels that you're using that actually are made by somebody in the Empordà, I believe?
Yeah. We have been using amphoras, terracotta clay, for the last 12, 14 years. We love them because they help to improve, to make better the wines, but they do not any kind of flavor. So you keep the authenticity of the variety of the wine. As we have been producing wines like this for so many years, and we are not far away from a terracotta place, that it's La Bisbal, and over there there's a museum. The director of the museum called us if we were interested in making a wine tasting of these wines there. We said, okay, we will come, but we will come if you let us one vessel of the museum. I suppose that they will say no, and they said yes. But they let us a small vessel that was painted, that was not interesting at all to produce wine. That's why we asked him, maybe you could introduce us a terracotta producer. And they introduced us a teacher from the school over there that made us a copy of Roman and Greek vessels that you can find in the ruins that are not far away from where we are. And we built them because we are in a very nice project. We are producing wines in the vineyard because we are looking for wild yeast that live in a wild way in our vineyards, just to check if there's one or a few of them that can be interesting for us for the next future to ferment our wines.
So for the moment, the fermentation is not with native
No,
yeast.
this we are still using selected yeast. Well, some special and small productions are fermented in a spontaneous way. But we hope that in the future we will have our own yeast.
just one thing to clear out this, because it's very important. When we speak about natural wines, yes, or low intervention, we are speaking about volumes of production that could be controlled in an easy way, or easiest, yes. But how many liters are you producing?
Well, it depends on the year, but around to 100,000 bottles. So you can take some risk, but for sure not for all of them.
If you have, big tanks corrupted because they stop the fermentation or whatever and so on, you are obviously having a lot of troubles. But that's something that we need to continue learning. Yes, how far can we go with this? And one of the ideas is, let's cultivate yeast. Yes, in order to find a way, yes, to use them, because they probably are going to be stronger than a design, as strong as a design one, yes, but not, let's say, with the problems of the one that you don't know, because yeasts are every year different.
It's like if you produce bread and you have your own masa madre.
Your starter. Yeah.
For sure you can produce wines, bread with authenticity in a controlled way.
So 3,000 bottles, 5,000 bottles could be obviously managed, yes, with spontaneous. But I am absolutely a fanatic for natural wines, yes, and trying to. But probably they need to change also the mentality of the way they are working. Instead of such an amount of volume for one wine, they need to split it, yes, into many different smaller things and try to work on that. But obviously, again, I go back to my first comment, yes, laziness is something that has to be taken out from the formula.
Well, I don't think in this case we could think you were lazy at all with all your things.
No,
then you
not
have,
at all, not at all.
You have the bees, you walk around the Vinyeta and you see bees, you see olive trees, you see chickens,
yes.
cheese. You also make cheese.
We also make cheese, yeah. As we have the sheep, and we started with the sheep some time ago. And we realized that they can only work for a few months in the vineyards, because when there are the leaf and the grapes, they cannot be there because they will eat everything. We thought that we could start to get some profit also from them if we will get the milk and we will produce the cheese.
Wow.
It was a disaster. Our sheep were shipped to produce meat, not milk. But we didn't stop the idea of producing cheeses. At the moment, we are buying the milk from some local farms. That's how we produce cheeses from sheep, but also cow and goat milk.
Well, I've tried some of those cheeses and they're pretty good, I would say. Absolutely. And then you also have a agroturismo, no? A little bed and breakfast or something?
Yes. In front of the winery, there was an old farm, and we changed it and we rent it so people can come and stay there for one night or a weekend or whatever.
And how many rooms is that?
Only, there are only 2 apartments and 2 rooms in each one, so maximum 8 people.
Oh, it's a nice number to go and spend a weekend in the Empordà. I would certainly...
Enough for a party.
Okay, well, I don't know if you want to add anything, Josep. Is there anything you would like to?
No, I would like to invite people to come, because once you visit a state and you know the wine growers or the farmers, or once you know the landscape and you know how the philosophy and how people work, then you can appreciate the products and then
absolutely.
It's important.
And it's just an hour and a half drive away from Barcelona.
It's not so far.
It's not far. It's a lovely trip. And
actually, if you don't have a car, you can take the fast train, AVE, and in 50 minutes you are to Figueras, and with a taxi in 20 minutes you get to La Vinyeta.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely recommend it. Okay, so we'll now be listening to Italy by Alex again. Thank you. Okay, so here we are in our last part of the program, and we'll talk a little bit now to Miguel about his projects. Miguel Figini, he's got lots of projects, always, as they say, cool inquiet here.
But they all have a direction, yes. Fully 15 years ago, I started developing a project that was called, by that time, Espai del Vi Català. Yes, because something that I've seen is that we live in a country, and probably Catalonia is one of the unique places where the wine that you have in all restaurants is not mainly Catalan. Yes, so that's absolutely ridiculous, but it is still like this. So I was a little upset at the beginning, because I say, well, probably they are really ugly wines. No one. And I start researching about that. You say that's not like that. They are fabulous wines, and also Priorat was growing as a nice thing. Penedès was already there. The Cab. I say, what's going on? Yes, what's going on? So I started that with the idea of. Making some, let's say, fighting for Catalan wines, making trainings and activities. We also produced some that I would like to rebirth them, which was the Catalan wine raves, yes, with music and producers, yes, and all the social stuff there. And I will probably, we are building something like this, but now with this second period, which is I migrated the idea of the Catalan wines into also natural Catalan wines, yes, because I think that again there's here the need, yes, of bringing the message and making this message grow. And it's fantastic when you see projects like. And he also helped when we make some courses as a producer that's come in and explain things, and so that's my main. Let's say, I was always trying to organize trainings and courses and so on, with the help of the actors and actresses of this. Yes, so I was always allowed to do very good things, without being the one that has to have the knowledge, which is an advantage. Yes. So the other thing is, now I'm going further with this, but in the natural, let's say, community and so on, and trying to to bring these things forward. But obviously, there's people that's asking me to help them with their projects, yes? I have two interesting things. I have a lot of experience as a salesman. I was working in the computer industry for many years, and when I was sick of that, I say I would like to go to another area that I can enjoy. What do you like? I like wine. I say, fantastic. And I started the wine project, yeah. And then I started at the beginning making a sort of, by the same time that Vinissimus was starting, yes, I started also distribution to sell wines. I say, if I go wrong, yes, or if I collapse, there's no problem. I just drink the stock, you know. So, but the point is that then I was always, when you work in marketing and so on, and I work in education, so I am always interested in. And the second factor is I was born in Argentina, so it's Argentinians are always talking a lot about things, you know. So as we have that,
gift.
Yeah, thank you, or not. The point is that I would like to say, so I still want to do these sort of things, so I cooperate with wineries that are making a process from going from industrial to natural wines, and this is what I'm doing now.
Right. Absolutely. We would love to go on and talking about natural wines and everything. Unfortunately, we don't have the time. But thank you so much to both of you for coming.
Thank you.
It was very interesting. And I'll see you in January with our next Wines Upon a Vine. Thank you.
Thank you.